be able to tell when I watch back on this. If I was saying that when we came on, then we're streaming now.
Good.
Hi guys, here we are again. Catherine's back.
Yeah. I had sickness last time, like back of the.
That's right. That's why you didn't come last month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you're here today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighting fit.
Mostly, it's sort of starting to get, not really bad sore throat or anything. It's just other things that I'm still able to make a podcast. Though,
yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah. Good. And yes, so how's life been? Good?
It's I had a day where I got a lot of stuff done, so I was happy about that. I seem to be doing a lot of writing and fitting that in places. I'm doing a lot of cleaning of my room.
Good.
Jordan Peterson would say.
Yeah, that's right. It's always good to get your room in order.
I do during the support worker time, so that's convenient. Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of help.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think that's off the top of my head. I can't think much
sorry,
else.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just trying to think of. I had a mental note about you, about cleaning your room. Oh yeah, just about order and how important it is one's own. But
it's more about germs and stuff, and I'm allergic to dust, so I need to clean that out. So I've got some bicarb. I didn't have any bicarb soda then. You told me to get some, and then I got some more. And then I got a vacuum cleaner and a new mattress protector and a few other things and stuff like that. So help.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, moving along. The world's falling to bits around us. So, I was just talking to someone else. We were just having a little chat before we came on with someone and she had an important point, which is, I think, what I've come to too, that, like, it's important to look at what's going on in the world, but the only thing we really have control over is the state of our own souls and our lives around us. And, so I want to keep pushing this podcast to be kind of about that, about how to take care of ourselves in these crazy times. We're living through some interesting times. Apparently it's an old Chinese curse. May you live through interesting times. Oh. Which I think we are.
Yeah.
They're certainly interesting.
Yeah. Stuff happened at them. So it is biblical. As, I don't know, like, in terms of, like, I don't look into the... Obviously, you're a preterist and I'm sort of halfway between preterist and futurist. I can't make up my mind. But then when John at Street Mission was talking about Iran and stuff, and I was like, I don't even know. Like,
yeah, I keep seeing headlines saying that this is biblical prophecy fulfilled and all this, and I'm just like, nah, I don't fall for that anymore. I'd have to be very convinced to switch back to that kind of thinking. And so for anyone that doesn't know, a preterist is, the word means preter means previous, like before, and it means that that has been fulfilled. So those end time prophecies, like Jesus spoke in Matthew 24, were fulfilled in AD 70 when Jerusalem fell. And so there's a whole study that it's fascinating, sort of realizing how much information there is about what actually happened and how clear it is that that's what he's talking about. But it doesn't negate the fact that we are in interesting times and probably at the end of an age. Something's in transition. That's certainly what I think.
This was also, like, I was putting out there that the fourth turning. I kept going, like, I think you shut that down, that idea.
When you tried to talk about it again here on the podcast, or just... I don't understand it, that's all, and I had trouble getting my head around it.
It's just generationally...
so it was within cycles. A sort of like 70-year thing or something, did you say?
I think it's like 80 to 100 years cycle.
But where does it start and where does it finish?
I think, when everything's good...
Did you say the fourth turning, did you say?
The fourth turning is
Why is it fourth?
Fourth lot of...
Since what, or before what? Or
20 to 25 years.
Hey? What's 20 to 25 years?
Is a generation, so like you'd had the...
Oh, so 4 turnings within one like 80 to 100 year span.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at it and figure out what it actually means and what.
Yeah, I was really excited, and then somebody shut it down. Might have been you. So.
Oh, I don't remember. But what is it actually saying, that we're at a turning point? What?
Yeah, we're gonna go for like as it seems like at the moment, time of chaos, and then it goes back to normal again. Right. And things are better. But like last time it happened, it turned into the better again was the 1950s, which I've recently learned while I was watching Pleasantville. My mum and my mum's friend Marion were telling me, like, the 1950s weren't this utopian time, Katherine. You know, some of these trad wife people are like, oh, I think they're okay. It's just the actual 1950s themselves, it's like bad. Partially. Well, not everything. I mean,
it's like every period, isn't it? It's got good and bad.
Good and bad, yeah.
So let's touch on Iran and Israel.
Okay. I got to load up.
So we've been watching. Tim and I have been watching videos every night, trying to keep up with it. It's sort of crazy. Like there's been one thing after another. There was all that crazy stuff with Trump and Musk, and the kind of bitch fights going on.
I hadn't kept abreast of that.
You didn't keep up with that. So and now some people are saying the whole thing was a put on for theatre. And so that's like everyone's just feeling so tossed around and cynical. Like, it's all just theatre.
There's a lot of I don't know, Joe Rogan and what was Joe Rogan a part of? Like, but also Donald Trump was in WWE, wasn't he? And that's all theatre anyway. I don't know. That's a bit of a conspiracy theory. Oh, he was in this a few times. Shaved that guy's head off. Or not his whole head, but his hair. When he lost the Battle of the Billionaires or whatever it was.
Oh, I think I've seen footage from like he's horsing around, like it looks like he's in the ring, but he probably isn't really, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he likes the show, and he is a television guy. So I'm going through wobbly times at the moment because I've finally came out and said, all right, I'm pro-Trump. Like for years I held off and it's like was either unsure or negative, and certainly I started off negative about Trump. But now I'm sitting with Tim watching all these videos of Trump doing really stupid things and it looking really bad. And so I'm a bit embarrassed about what's happening with ICE, but I'll reserve my judgment and we'll just see how it plays out, because quite often we don't understand what's going on under the covers. But it's looking pretty dodgy, and I don't know if anyone has seen the military parade that Trump organised. I haven't seen much of that, but it sounds like
I saw bits of it.
So the left are having a bit of a party with how lame it was. Apparently, did you see anything of it from any other perspective, or?
I think it takes me a long time to put it I don't have the time to go in for the effort, but I did it this morning because I was coming on. So there's a few topics I got already. Mm-hmm. But this, I don't know, the military. So I don't know
it
about that one.
It just sounds like a farce, like Tim keeps talking about videos of like the Trump, the tanks going past and it's got a squeaky wheel and it's just and then there's no audience there and nobody's cheering and anyway. And I just saw some footage of soldiers and they weren't marching in time, and someone was saying that was a protest. And then at the same time, all the people protesting the ICE arrests were in the billions. I can't remember. I'm not very good at holding figures, but a shitload of people.
Okay.
Like a lot of people protesting, saying no, they don't want kings, that they feel like Trump's being like a dictator. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, regards that, I've just recently joined a refugee group, so I'm handing out flyers, not very much, but just being at the vigil in Rundle Mall and standing there in solidarity with other people who want to help refugees. So I'm all about refugee status. That's great. I'm actually also, like, this is like coming from somebody who used to be fully on board with One Nation. Not so much now with the immigration things. I think they're a freedom party, but at the same time, just not so much with the immigration, because just even if they are undocumented, they're doing the farming work. So
In America.
Even in Australia, like, I think they do the stuff, and I even said.
Well, we
like,
don't have quite the same
yeah.
situation. We used to have a thing with boat people, didn't we? That people used.
Yes.
I wasn't very tuned in at that time, but I guess that's the equivalent. But it's a bit easier to cross an open border than to get a boat across a dangerous sea, and potentially. Yeah. I knew a woman when I was back at the cafe where there was a lot of Afghan people around, and they were refugees. I can't even remember where. Maybe it was Palestine. I'll have to ask her. Mm. She was Arab, but and Muslim. But she'd been with a group of people coming out on a boat to Australia and as refugees, and she reckons an official boat came up and tipped their boat over, and that she lost her baby.
Oh no!
Let's see, yeah, pretty traumatic stuff. So yeah, all this tension around refugees and stuff has been going on for a long time, but I don't know what's happening with Australia at the moment. There's just so much attention on America and what's going on there.
I should be watching Topher Field to keep up with Australia. There was this thing that I was supposed to watch, which is like 5 stages of something. 5 stages, and okay.
Lost it.
Yeah, I lost it.
Something about Australian politics.
Just Australia got collapsed in 5 stages or something.
Yeah, okay.
I was really interested in that, but I haven't checked it out.
Yeah,
I haven't had time.
Yeah. So have you got notes there? Did you want to talk about what you wanted to talk about? So you watched Candace today. She's beat me to Candace.
Yeah, first time.
I haven't. I was saying to my friend who was just here that I've become an avid Candace person. But she was really like, I hate Candace. But she said that she used to watch her before she left Daily Wire. And I said, I never used to watch her then, so maybe she was bad then, I don't know. But so after she left Daily Wire, got sacked and stood up for the Palestinians and, well, against the sort of the Zionist mafia, then I took an interest in her. And I found her to be, I've said before, pretty dependable and good value. But so you got to watch her today?
Yeah, because she had a video. She just got back from
maternity
leave.
She just had her 4th baby.
Yeah,
little boy called Roman.
Oh, okay.
Don't know why Roman.
It sounds like a what's that name? That rapper. She's got a spirit called Roman in her. Nicki Minaj.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know if it has anything to do.
I wonder if it's anything to do with the Roman Catholic Church.
Maybe.
She's become a Catholic. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you watched it today?
Yeah, because it dropped 5 hours ago when I turned it on. I was like, oh my gosh, this is hot off the press. Yay.
Yeah.
Better watch it before it gets taken down. Because it literally could be taken down now. You never know. Hopefully not. So... This is my notes. Candace Owens, in regards to Israel, she believes that they're doing false flags in an Iraq war way. And this is like coming from someone who's a millennial who can remember all that stuff. Like George Bush and everything with the Iraq. What the heck was that? Iraq war? Oh, yeah, we're going in for weapons of mass destruction, whatever. It's oil. Well, that's the standard excuse was oil from the truther community. I'm not sure, that may not be true. I'm not sure. But there's probably other stuff going on as well. I mean, maybe there's additional stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it is to do with the Zionist mafia, then it would make sense of the dancing Jews, wouldn't it?
For dancing Israelis or something like that.
that knew it was going to happen and was all set up to record it and were dancing with joy.
I know.
So, it seems to be their... particular thing is false flags, maybe.
Yes, it seems to be like that's what they said. So the other guy, I forgot who the other guy was. Is his name Carroll?
Yeah, Ian Carroll.
Ian Carroll.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he was there too, saying, I don't know, I didn't differentiate who was saying what, so.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing to see. It's saying they're going from the same script. So, going from the same script is getting tired, and people are waking up to it. Of course, this has been going for like ages. Like the people, what age was I when 2001? I think when the Twin Towers thing happened, and then they started the Iraq War. 2001. I was in high school. 1987 plus 3 plus 13 plus 14. I was about 14. And how old you been for?
I was like 38 or something.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's these are the people that like this millennials are coming into power now. It's like you can't do this. This is sort of first. It's got going through the fourth turning where things get tired and old, and like the generations see it. You can't do this again. Like it's something to do with that. I think. Like
the feeling like people at your age group are coming into power, and they know they're sort of waking up to it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so they've always got like clever new tactics, haven't they? And I think, as we were saying before, that like there's such a lot of confusion at the moment about who's doing what and who's responsible and who's, you got this sort of sharp divisions, this polarization of the people between left and right and black and white and all these sorts of men and women. And then there's this kind of confusion of like, you get these assassinations that are going on and so on in America, where it's like both sides are like waiting to hear that it was the other side's crazy person. It's like, the left thinking, yeah, it's the right, that's their crazy person, and the right thinking, yeah, it's probably one of those bloody lefties. and then it's really confusing. Like this latest one with the police guy dressed as a policeman, it sounded at first like he was on like left and then right and like and then it's like, well, maybe he was like just pretending to be this, so he blame Trump or God knows. So anyway, it's like does your head in, like trying to work it out.
Another thing I saw on Facebook just briefly, like Linda Bromley had said that there was another machete attack and she was getting sick of it.
In Melbourne or here?
I'm not sure which state it was in. I just put a shocked face to that and was like, okay, that's like the third machete attack in like a month or something.
Yeah, and I saw some headlines yesterday that someone fell out of a building in Adelaide. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, I think in the King William Road. Was that street?
Gosh, I wonder what that was about. I didn't look into it, but yeah, crazy stuff everywhere. Yeah. And the dear old mushroom lady.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, gosh.
What a character, eh?
Yeah. That's
right from the beginning, as like, a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Something's going on there. And the husband's like, yeah, no, I'm right, thanks. For lunch. I'll pass on this one. Because he'd been in hospital before, apparently.
Oh, okay.
From having dinner with her.
My mum's saying, like, we can't eat beef Wellington. People can't eat beef Wellington anymore, can they? Like, obviously.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Just, you got more.
It is. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
So what are you finding that? Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
So I was just, the main thing I was saying was like the millennials and people who grew like were fully aware of Twin Towers going down at the time. Whether they were truthers, I wasn't a truther at that point, but I knew the general, there was some truther stuff coming out, like. Yeah, even at the top, before I was a truther, I got some truther narratives, I believe.
Yeah.
So I was already getting that stuff. And then you can't do this, like Israel can't do this for, how many years has it been? Since 2001.
But it really starts with JFK and probably before then, I don't know. But But so it's interesting now because there's a lot of stuff coming out about JFK, and the Israel connection is coming out there as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like 9/11 that everyone has kind of known something dodgy went on, but the government sort of keeps the same narrative going.
Yeah.
Then we've done a report. Everything's one lone shirt
Rich
gunman.
Corbett report, like, I mean, there's probably, no offence, there's probably better people who've done the rigmarole about the official report about 9/11. But I watched a video about, apart from somebody else who's probably better at it. But he's probably good enough, Corbett, to say that the 9/11 report was a sham. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. But also JFK. But now it's all coming out. But what I was going to say is like it's like everyone sort of got this idea that something wasn't right with JFK and 9/11 and other things. But
it's coming a lot more.
But I think the bad guys who are doing these things know that if they can just fuffle things around for long enough, people get old.
It doesn't work. I don't think it works.
Well, it has done.
People do get old, but
JFK. You start to get clear what's happened, and nobody cares anymore because it's so long ago. But I mean, so I just hope that we can have a building awareness, so that we can be very aware of what's happening now. We can't solve those ones, but we can gather the information from them to get a sense of what kind of tactics these power people do. And so like we're saying, like recognising, like you're touching on the red flag, these false flags. Potential of. So how did she tie in a false flag with the Iran-Israel?
I'm not sure. Some of the details, if it's not written in my notes, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
So what, did you have anything you wanted to read out there?
We've done that. We've done that one to death, like that bit. This gets into the Holocaust, which, oh gosh.
Gets into the Holocaust?
So I'll just say it as nicely as possible, not to offend, I guess. Holocaust is sort of like Israel's victim status. So, they have that victimhood. And then they can have a WMD, and Iran can't.
Hang on, weapon
of mass destruction.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Atomic weapons. What's the other word for it? Nuclear. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of dodgy things on there. Like apparently, Tim said that Trump in his first term, that Obama had set up something with the Iranians that they could have their uranium. What do you call it? There's some word that means they treat it in some way. Enriched. Thank you. That they can have their enriched uranium because it gets used for other things, domestic things, but that they've said they're not going to have nuclear weapons, but they want to use it. And so they'd set up something and it was all agreed and it was fine. But apparently when Trump got in, I'll have to look into this, I haven't seen it myself, but that Trump stopped that and said that you can't have any enriched uranium. They can't. I don't know. Like I said, I probably should have checked that before I started talking about it. But there's all these different ideas swimming around about what's going on and how we got here. But like that they were trying to say that they can't do anything at all makes it really hard for them to come to the table to negotiate when they're just trying to bully them into having no position at all. They need to be able to. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't know. Did you get anything more from Candace?
Maybe not about the enriching. So it was basically, Candace said the Holocaust victimhood basically is the reason why Israel can have, I think she said nukes, I'm not sure, but I said weapons of mass destruction because I think that's what she pretty much meant. Okay. And Iran can't because of the Holocaust. It's just She talked about Hollywood and how they keep shoving Holocaust down everybody's throats.
Yeah.
All the time.
So we've been really
pretty
programmed.
Contentious topic.
Yeah. But that's all breaking down. Like it feels like people are feeling able now to start criticising Israel and say something dodgy's going on here.
Well, she broke the ice or something, maybe.
Yeah, I think her and a few others. They've really opened it up. Yeah.
I mean, everybody would be like, "Well, this is happening at this time. Of course it is."
Yeah, but I saw last night that someone was saying that Iran's saying if Israel uses nuclear on them, Pakistan's going to get involved. Pakistan said that they'll use nuclear because Pakistan's got nuclear. For some reason, Pakistan can have nuclear, but just because Iran is a threat. But apparently, Netanyahu has been talking about going to war and sort of this idea that Iran's in a few months they're going to have nuclear capacity and since the 90s, like they've been doing this for a long time, trying to get go to war with Iran. So it just seems so awful. The idea of like countries being bombed is just so, and especially these ancient countries. I mean, any country and people dying is just horrific. But who knows what we're on the brink of?
Yeah.
If it goes nuclear, and Russia and China.
Is nukes a thing? Is nukes real? I don't know. It's probably a conspiracy truther thing, but is nukes actually real?
Oh, right.
Can they actually do anything? I don't know.
Well, what about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? You're saying
I'm probably coming from a Richie from Boston kind of position where it was like, and also the Chernobyl where it was like
you can start doubting just about anything, can't you?
The afterwards it was fine. I don't know. That's what I think Richie from Boston may have said. I'm not sure. Sorry.
So there was a funny one with Tulsi Gabbard. Did you see that?
No.
That she went to Nagasaki and she was deeply moved. Well, that's what she seems like a sincere person. I don't really know much about her, but she made a video sort of warning against nuclear war, probably because she's got a sense of what's potentially going to happen if this flexing keeps going on. And well, it's more than flexing now, it's throwing punches.
Apparently it's false flags. That's
but which ones? Like the whole war is a false flag, or?
Yeah, so if I get down to Brendan, it might actually...
Okay.
Well, there's other things. Israel sucks at getting support for this war because they have reached peak propaganda, and Candace showed evidence of this.
That people don't believe them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't
Did you
work.
see Bibi Netanyahu the other day, like talking and trying to suck up to Trump and trying to suck up to the rest of the world and say, but make it all, they're trying to make out like they're doing fine but you're going to have to come in because we're standing between you and, Iran wants to do nuclear and we're sort of protecting you all, so you've got to come and help us. So he's really, it looked very try-hard, like it didn't look...
Bibi's upset. Anyway, that's what Brendan wrote. He wrote, Bibi is upset in text on his screen or something. Yeah, he was so happy about that.
Right. Well, it's interesting, like the emotional feeling of like watching as you become more aware of them just pummeling Palestine, and that the Palestinians can't leave, they can't fight back. They're just these fenced-in people that are just being bombed every day. Hundreds of people every day, little children, women, men, just citizens just being bombed till it just looks like a horrible wasteland. And the fact that nobody's doing anything and nobody knows what to do, and well, people say America could stop it like that, but I don't know if it's that simple.
Would I have that? Yeah.
I mean, they can withdraw, but if we understand like what might not be obvious on the surface might be all the controls that Israel has underneath. Like with these blackmail.
Cyber, possibly the Samson option. Which is a bit like Samson in the Bible. He was a judge, I believe. And then what he did was, obviously he took down a temple with himself inside it. And then the Samson option with them is like, they're going to take down the...
with Israel?
Israel will take the whole world down with themselves in it. I think that doesn't make sense for Israel to do that. Like, I don't know, to act like Samson. But anyways,
where do we go from there?
Yeah.
But or the other thing is like all the idea of that all the elites have got their bunkers ready. If things get out of control, they'll all go and get ready to start the new world, maybe with them in it. I was watching some woman in New Zealand saying apparently Peter Thiel's got an underground bunker over there that he's got set up. Yeah. That's a whole nother tangent to go down.
Yeah, also, I'll get into Brendan eventually, but he would probably say, I think, like, they're bribing everybody with the cyber. Israel has the cyber, and they, like, I think Brendan would say that they can shut down what they call critical infrastructure in countries. They've got it all set up that they they've backdoored, I'd say, a lot of critical infrastructure. I haven't written this down in my notes, but this is an I believe statement.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? And that's the thing, like, it's all so confusing. But yeah, let's wait and see. And
I just have to say another thing. The fact that Bibi Netanyahu can stare down the whole UN and just like go, you're not doing nothing for Israel, blah, blah, blah. And whatever he did. I think it was about a minute of him staring down.
Is this recently or?
No, this is like...
This is something Candace showed.
Something around the time of probably went like, I don't know, before or after the enrichment 90% thing with the bomb diagram.
No, you lost
me. He uses diagrams and stuff in the UN.
Okay. All right. Yes. So he's been. Yes.
He can stare down. If he can stare down the UN and nobody gets up and said, "You, BB, go away," whatever.
So there's a doco around. Oh yeah, it was Ian Carroll, I think, was talking about the doco about him. Did you see that one?
Not had.
But someone's done a doco on his legal situation. He's like wanted. He's like, I can't remember how to describe it, but yeah, they reckon that he's doing all this stuff and keeping wars going, partly to stop himself going to prison, because Israel apparently does that when people, when their politicians break the law, they will put them in prison. And I can't even remember what he did, but he's a dodgy character.
Yeah.
And I reckon, October 7th, I reckon there's a lot of dodgy things around that they already knew. They knew stuff. And talking about false flags, I think that was a huge false flag.
Yeah.
And it started this whole last couple of years of this crazy situation with Palestine. And so the whole Arab world now must be feeling, like I say, there's some sort of emotional satisfaction if someone can land a punch on Israel with what they're doing, just watching them just decimating a whole people, just day in, day out, just destroying them. And they're Arabs and they're Muslim. Oh, well, they're not all Muslim, are they? But mostly Muslim. And so the whole rest of the Arab Muslim world must be feeling ready to join the fight.
What's it called? That thing. It's a German word. Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude.
Schaden what?
Schadenfreude. So that means like you're so happy that something's happening.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I have been guilty of that. I'll go into. I probably want to. Well, we've probably finished on the Candace stuff. Yeah. Oh, she said he was a demon, baby.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, I think that was it. And then, Brendan Lee O'Connell, he's got a video called "The Fraud with Iran."
With a wren?
With Iran.
Iran.
Not Iran. Anyways. I guess I'll say it that way. And now I've got to skip that bit because you don't want me to say the certain thing.
Oh, it's all right. We can touch on it if it don't, rather than say that. It was just, I think it was something that I didn't know anything about and you didn't know much about. But touch on it if you like. Now you've said it.
So Brendan said, and I quote, "Israel runs Iran." So
Right, that was the thing. I'd never heard of that, so I don't understand how that could be possible and what it would mean to be at war with them if they're running them. So then it would be literally theatre,
yeah,
but people dying and I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
Wag the Dog. If you watch Wag the Dog, you might get the idea because Brendan probably referenced that movie. There was a lot of false flags involved in that, and it was theatre. So yeah. I haven't even seen the whole movie of that. He's shown clips of it, so yeah. And then Brendan also said that Iran is meant to scare Saudi Arabia, UAE and Gulf states into doing deals. And then Rouhani, I think Rouhani's the supreme leader of Iran. I haven't really checked this up quickly enough. But yes, he spent some time in Scotland with Jack Straw and Lord Levi, and from that I think Brendan is suggesting these are planned. And then lastly, most people who commentate on this have no analysis. Instead, they have polarisation of information and read from the same script. That's why me and Brendan don't have many people to choose from for our world news. Mainstream media is out because it's only Associated Press, AP, or Reuters, which is, I say Reuters like an Australian, so it sounds really disgusting. But it's Reuters, maybe, yeah.
Reuters. Oh, I don't know. yeah, go on.
So in terms of mainstream media, don't bother going to Al Jazeera or Press TV or anything else mainstream media. I mean, I guess I'm watching the mainstream media at the moment, and that's where I'm getting my Palestine stuff from, but I'm like, well, I mean, it's probably to scare us or just to make us depressed, but it's the truth. Like Israel's just smashing Palestine, and it's like, well, yeah.
Well, I was touching on before we went on. I was talking a bit about the Bilderberg group because that's not getting as much attention within the truther community probably than in past years because there's so much going on, isn't it?
Yeah.
But certainly some of those old time truthers like James Corbett and I think Burmis. I can't remember. Do you know Jason Burmis?
No.
Okay, he's another one that I got onto early on. I don't watch him much these days, but the Bilderberg group for conspiracy theorists has been a long time. For the last decade or something, people became aware of these secret meetings of very high up people, the people behind the people that we see. So you got all the figures and all the puppets in the light, and then the people behind them with all the money that are making decisions. That's the idea of the Bilderberg group, that they all get together every year in lavish hotels, take over the whole hotel and have what's that word, something rules, so you're not allowed to, none of the information's allowed to come out, Chatham rules or something. But they knew somehow from some other previous meetings some of the topics, and so it's coming out this idea of that from 2025 there's going to be a decade of revolution is what they're saying. And so I find that interesting in terms of what we're experiencing and what's this sort of craziness that's picking up in this year. Like, it's been crazy since 2020, really.
Yeah.
What a different reality we live in. But this year it's like really is like this confusion, like I say, of all these what's what, left, right, and like the people that are supporting Trump are now like pulling back from him and saying he's betraying us, going into war, doing different things. And there's a lot of confusion of information and disruption. So I guess that sort of feeds into the next part of what we'll talk about, which is the importance of looking after our own souls in the midst of this, and like that's really all we've got control of, and what we need to keep learning about and helping each other with is being present with ourselves and with our families, with our friends, with each other, keep ourselves spiritually clean and right and in a good shape. Keep learning how to keep peace as at the centre. And if you don't know how to do that, find out. Like, there'll be ways to find out, and do different things about that, because that's crucial.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the most powerful thing you can do as everything's falling about. If you keep peace and know that that the people that are on the negative side that are causing all the chaos, they ultimately can't win, they can't be triumphant and can't be right. That there is a new thing being born and that it's of a different quality, and that ability to stay peaceful in the midst is the quality of the authority of the new thing that's being coming into focus. Something like that. I got a bit muddled there. But anyway, we were going to touch on the divine feminine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we it's something about that sort of triggered something for you. You were trying to explore it a bit. We talked a bit about it last week.
It's because I ended up just thinking a lot this morning and a few other days too. I wrote it down in my calendar to talk to one of my support workers about it. Just thinking too much, and then I was like, nah, it's okay if I think too much. That's a female's job, because I just think females are opposite of men, and men are just that do and ask questions later sort of thing.
Right, okay. So like the way I would divide that is like the interior world and the exterior world, maybe, that the exterior world is about action and the interior is about contemplation.
Yeah.
And I certainly, that would come up in the way I sort of model it is that the feminine is the inner world.
That's good to know. Sort of on track there, so that's good, because I was just like, I spent 2.5 to 3 hours just thinking about how I was going to attack the chores that day, and then I ran out of time because I was thinking to do them, and I almost like, I mean, I got here pretty early, so, but,
yeah, so like all this stuff to do with the masculine and feminine is about how they relate to each other within each one of us, and so that would be our external world, the part of our mind that it relates to action, and the part of our mind that relates to reflection and introspection, how they relate to each other. Because I had a lot of trouble with that when I was younger, of overthinking and being sort of stuck in thought and thinking about what I was going to do, but having trouble connecting that to the part of me that took action.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's finding that right balance to be healthy and whole. And
I managed today. I was thanking God today that I sort of got it done. I was thinking, and I got the dishes done, and then I also got out to your house. I got earlier than expected. So yeah, I can't do that every day though. Like, I've got to get on with it. I was thinking the idea behind that, and what you're supposed to do is supposed to have a big community thing with the girls in the village sort of thing. It doesn't have to be a village, but
yeah, because we were just talking about villages before, and that sort of got us thinking about that idea of village life. And yeah, it is a bit like that is the missing piece probably for women, and this sort of maybe false understanding of women's liberation being liberated from being female almost.
Yeah.
Sort of disrupts maybe the whole basis of society. That's what it feels like to me. And that, yeah, so that you don't have a strong foundation that everything's built on. But if you've got that kind of community, like you were saying, of women communing with each other, there's a certain kind of energy that happens when women get together.
And just help, like, probably, I don't know, sort of asking really random questions about like what cleaner do I use? Well, I don't know. That's what I'd be. That's what it's sort of feel like asking you and asking some people tomorrow. It's like, because I'm having difficulty with. Actually, my mum's in my house, so I can ask another female, but sometimes she's not there.
So a lot of these things, I think, for women, the thing that I started to realise is that we're not being trained to be housewives. So we're just expected to just know how to. So women always end up being the housewives anyway, by default, and then they feel unhappy because they feel like they're doing everything and the guys aren't doing anything.
Yeah, that's what happened with me and my brothers. Like, they didn't do nothing, and I did some. I did more than that. Like, we all like video games, but I had to put that away for a minute or a while and then do the dishes, or we didn't get dinner. So, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
yeah, so it's all a bit mixed up, all that stuff. So, but I feel like, yeah, like, so thinking about these things now, like we talked about last week about the idea of the divine feminine is being able to access a part of God that is like the mother heart, and being able to, that's really where, so instead of like trying to work out how society should work, as we're sort of tapping into that, and as women getting that comfort of the mother, and that reassurance of what we are is good and important, and that everything we're doing has meaning, and that we just need to be channeling that into our world, and not worry too much about trying to work it all out. But feeling that love and that comfort of the mother, I think, is really important. We sort of touched on that last week, didn't you? You had a bit of a touch with that.
Yeah, and we looked into. I've got to read the book. I was trying to do it today, like look at like what are the most compassionate parts of the Bible, and what is the most compassionate things that Jesus done or God's done or something, or what was the other one? Hospitality. Jesus showing hospitality, and I mean he showed hospitality, but the words of the Bible don't go into the specific description of like this sinner, this prostitute who sat with Jesus was eating his nice food. I don't know. It was so sumptuous and nourishing, and it doesn't say that in the Bible. I mean, there was just like, I was looking at Proverbs 31 woman, and there were like a few lines about, I think, keeping the people warm. And I was like, that's good. It's just nothing to really hold on to, dig your teeth into, and then really like, get that. You're hoping it's in the Bible, like it's there, but it's in a very top level way, or what kind of a way, maybe.
It doesn't go into detail.
Doesn't go into detail about it.
Well, I think it's because like the Bible is about words, and it's about in the realm of words, and there's a lot of things in life that aren't about words. They're about experiences and atmospheres and that kind of thing. So, and to me, that's more the feminine realm. So what I'm doing with my book is I'm wanting to show that the Bible does express it, but that there's some things in life that are overt and clear, and you can argue them, and some things are not. Some things you just know and you feel and you experience, and that's more the feminine realm. And so what I'm wanting to establish is that that's like, it's like sometimes in the Christian church, with men that don't understand, they will make a sharp division and say all that stuff's wrong. And we just got to have the word and just be clear and concise. But there's a lot of atmosphere around words, and that's where, like wisdom, if you can draw from Scripture and understand that wisdom is identified as a feminine figure who is identified with God. And if you think about wisdom and the word is the conscious, clear thing. But wisdom is the atmosphere around it, is the understanding. So that's the part of you that maybe doesn't have words, it's more down in here, you know? And so that's what I feel is important at this time, is to bring it all together, to not be trying to chuck that out so you can just be like biblical, but understand that the whole picture is more fulsome than that, and to bring the feminine into it, and feminine wisdom and knowledge into our experience of God. So I guess we've got to be brave if we think the Bible is the only way you can know God. But I think obviously you know God from everything, from life, from existing, from, you know, and if you don't know God in your existence and your breathing and your doing and your relationships, and you only try to know God through the Bible, you're going to get a really distorted picture of God, I think. Okay. It's meant to be through living first.
So we have an experience of like going outside. I mean, well, maybe like I like the sunshine. It's warm, particularly in winter. So that's God's warmth, isn't it?
Well, everything is God's, isn't it? So being
Yeah.
human, being you, being the feelings you have, the experiences you have inform you about God. And
Some of my experiences haven't been very good, so. Although I have,
But that's everyone,
I have
that-
comfort at the moment. I'm in a very comfortable position.
yeah, so
Compared to
everyone, it's a messy business being alive, but you've got to bring that to your understanding of God through Scripture. You know what I mean? Like you can't separate it out. You've got to bring it, all that messiness and that all the feelings and desires of being human, and that's, if God's made us, then we're made in God's image, so it's all part of the picture, you know. Something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
we probably rattled on long enough. Should we call it a day?
That's all right. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Bless you. Shalom.
Yeah.
Thanks.